The test day. It was a bright and sunny morning at Maplewood High School. The birds chirped happily outside, but inside the school, a sense of nervousness hung in the air. Students whispered to each other as they walked through the hallways, heading to their classrooms for the big math test. Among them was Jordan, a kind-hearted and smart 14-year-old boy. He loved math and was known for his sharp mind. Jordan entered his math classroom, room 203. The walls were covered with colorful posters about math concepts and inspirational quotes. Ms. Roberts, their teacher, was busy writing on the whiteboard. She was tall and had a friendly smile, but today she seemed serious. The students took their seats, and the sound of rustling papers filled the room. "Good morning, class," Ms. Roberts said, her voice echoing in the quiet room. "Today is the day of your big math test. I hope you studied hard." Jordan looked down at his desk, feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. He had prepared well and reviewed all the topics, but the thought of making a mistake made his stomach churn. He glanced at his friend Mia, who sat 2 seats away. She smiled at him, trying to ease his nerves. "Remember, just do your best," she whispered. After a few minutes of silence, Ms. Roberts handed out the test papers. Jordan took a deep breath as he received his sheet. The title at the top read, "Math Test, 7th Grade." He flipped the paper over and started to read the questions. The first few questions were straightforward, and Jordan felt confident. He wrote his answers quickly, but then he reached question number 5. As he read the question, something didn't feel right. The question asked about the area of a rectangle, but the numbers given were confusing. Jordan furrowed his brow and reread the question. It was wrong. The width and length didn't match the formula they had learned in class. Jordan felt his heart race. Should he say something or keep quiet? He looked around the room. Some students were scribbling away, while others seemed stuck. He raised his hand, hoping Ms. Roberts would notice him. "Ms. Roberts," Jordan called out, "I think there's a mistake in question 5. Ms. Roberts paused and turned her attention to him. "What do you mean, Jordan?" she asked, crossing her arms. Jordan stood up, trying to sound confident. "The numbers in question 5 don't make sense for calculating the area. I think they're mixed up." The room fell silent. All eyes were on Jordan. He felt a bit embarrassed, but knew he had to speak up. Ms. Roberts frowned, and Jordan's heart sank. He could see that she was annoyed. "Jordan, we don't have time to discuss mistakes during the test. Just focus on your own paper," she replied sharply. Jordan's cheeks turned red. He sat back down, feeling a wave of disappointment wash over him. He knew he was right, but now he felt ashamed for trying to help. He forced himself to focus on the rest of the test, but the wrong question kept nagging at him. As the minutes ticked by, Jordan finished the test and handed it in. He was relieved it was over, but the feeling of dread lingered. He walked back to his seat, and Mia gave him a thumbs up. "You did great," she said, trying to cheer him up. But when the bell rang and students filed out of the classroom, Jordan felt a sense of unease. Ms. Roberts called him over to her desk. "Jordan, I need to speak with you for a moment," she said, her tone serious. He approached her desk, anxiety creeping in. "Yes, Ms. Roberts." "Your behavior during the test was disruptive," she said firmly. "You questioned the test when you should have been focused on completing it. I have decided to suspend you for the rest of the day." Jordan's mouth dropped open in shock. "Suspend me? But I was just trying to help. I didn't mean to disrupt anything." Ms. Roberts shook her head. "You should have thought about that before speaking up. Sometimes, it's better to keep your thoughts to yourself." Jordan felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. He couldn't believe this was happening. He had only wanted to point out a mistake, and now he was being punished for it. As he walked out of the classroom, his heart sank. The laughter and chatter of his classmates echoed in his ears, but he felt completely alone. Jordan couldn't understand how trying to do the right thing had led to such a harsh consequence. He walked down the hallway, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. The thought of being suspended made him feel small and helpless. He couldn't wait to see his friends, especially Mia, and tell her what had happened. When he reached his locker, he took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. He knew he needed to talk to Mia about this. She always knew how to make him feel better. As he opened his locker, he heard whispers behind him. Some students were talking about the test and laughing, but Jordan felt a lump in his throat. He wanted to join in, but he couldn't shake the feeling of injustice. "Hey, Jordan," Mia called, rushing over. "I heard what happened. Are you okay?" Jordan sighed and shook his head. "No, I'm not okay. Ms. Roberts suspended me just for pointing out a mistake on the test." Mia's eyes widened. "That's so unfair. You did the right thing." "I thought so," Jordan replied, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. "But now I'm not sure. I just wanted to help everyone, and now I feel like I messed everything up." Mia placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "You didn't mess up. You stood up for what's right. We need to figure out how to make this better." As they talked, Jordan felt a spark of hope. Maybe he could find a way to turn this situation around. But for now, he just wanted to go home and think. Little did he know that the events of the day would lead to something much bigger than he could ever imagine. The fallout. After being suspended, Jordan walked home feeling like the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows on the pavement. He usually enjoyed the walk, but today felt different. Each step felt heavy, as if he were dragging his feet through mud. Arriving home, Jordan found his mother in the kitchen. The aroma of freshly baked cookies filled the air, but Jordan had no appetite. He dropped his backpack by the door and walked into the kitchen. His mother turned to him, her smile fading when she saw the look on his face. "Jordan, honey, you're home early. How was the test?" she asked, her eyes bright with expectation. Jordan sighed and ran a hand through his hair. "I got suspended, Mom." His mother's eyes widened in shock. "What? Why? What happened?" He sat down at the kitchen table and explained everything. How he had noticed the mistake on the test and how Ms. Roberts had reacted. As he spoke, his voice trembled with frustration and sadness. "I just wanted to help. I didn't mean to disrupt the test." His mother listened carefully, her expression growing serious. "Jordan, I understand you wanted to help, but it's important to choose the right moment to speak up. Still, this doesn't seem fair. We should talk to Ms. Roberts." "I don't want to talk to her," Jordan replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "I feel embarrassed. What if she gets mad at me again?" His mother placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "I know it's scary, but you deserve to be heard. We will go together, and I'll support you." Jordan nodded, feeling a little better. He appreciated his mother's support, but the thought of confronting Ms. Roberts still made him uneasy. After dinner, Jordan sat in his room, staring at his homework, but his mind was elsewhere. He felt isolated from his friends, worried they would think less of him for being suspended. Would they even understand why he spoke up? The thought weighed heavily on his heart. The next day, Jordan and his mother went to school together. As they walked through the halls, he felt a mix of anxiety and determination. They arrived at Ms. Roberts' classroom, and his mother knocked on the door. "Come in," Ms. Roberts called. Jordan stepped inside, his stomach churning. Ms. Roberts looked surprised to see him, and her expression quickly shifted to one of concern. "Jordan, what brings you here?" she asked, her tone softer than before. Jordan's mother spoke first. "Ms. Roberts, we need to talk about Jordan's suspension. He feels very upset about the situation." Ms. Roberts glanced at Jordan, who was staring at the floor. "I understand. I reacted quickly during the test. It was a high-stress situation, and I didn't handle it well." Jordan finally found the courage to speak. "I was just trying to help. I didn't mean to disrupt anything." "I know you didn't," Ms. Roberts replied gently. "I appreciate you bringing up the mistake. I made an error in the test, and I should have listened to you. I was wrong to suspend you." Jordan's heart raced. "So, I'm not really in trouble." Ms. Roberts shook her head. "No, Jordan. You were right to point out the mistake. I should have acknowledged your input. I'm truly sorry for how I treated you." Relief washed over him like a warm wave. "Thank you," he said quietly. Jordan's mother smiled, sensing the tension easing. "We appreciate your honesty, Ms. Roberts. It's important for students to feel safe speaking up." "Absolutely," Ms. Roberts agreed. "I'll make sure to create a more open environment in class. Jordan, I'd like to invite you back to class tomorrow, if you're willing. I want to show you that your voice matters." Jordan nodded, feeling a surge of gratitude. "I'd like that." As they left the classroom, Jordan felt lighter, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. His mother beamed at him. "See, you stood up for yourself, and it paid off." "I guess so," he replied, a smile creeping onto his face. I didn't expect her to apologize. "Sometimes people need a little nudge to do the right thing," his mother said, ruffling his hair. "I'm proud of you." That evening, as Jordan prepared for school the next day, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He wanted to make the most of his second chance. He thought about how important it was to stand up for what was right, even when it felt scary. He decided he would be a voice for others too. The following morning, he walked into school with a bounce in his step. The sun shone brightly, and he was eager to face the day. When he entered Ms. Roberts' class, he felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He noticed some students whispering and looking at him, but he brushed it off. Today was about moving forward. Ms. Roberts greeted the class with a smile. "Good morning, everyone. I hope you're ready for a fresh start. I want to take a moment to recognize Jordan for showing courage in pointing out a mistake in our test." Jordan's cheeks turned red as the class turned to him. Some students clapped while others nodded in approval. He felt a wave of warmth and acceptance. This was his moment to shine, and he wasn't going to waste it. Today, we'll start with a discussion about how to respectfully express our thoughts and ideas in class. Ms. Roberts continued. "Jordan, would you like to share your experience?" Jordan took a deep breath. "Sure. I think it's important to speak up when we see something wrong. We can all help each other learn better." As he spoke, he noticed his classmates listening intently. He felt empowered, and the fear he had felt just a day ago began to fade away. With each passing moment, Jordan realized that standing up for himself had not only changed his situation, but had the potential to impact others. He was ready to embrace the journey ahead, no matter where it took him. The support of friends. After Jordan's courageous return to class, he felt a wave of support wash over him. His classmates seemed more engaged, and he could sense a new energy in the room. Ms. Roberts encouraged open discussions, allowing everyone to share their thoughts. Jordan was eager to contribute, feeling confident for the first time in a while. As the day progressed, Jordan noticed a group of his friends gathered at the lunch table. They were animatedly talking and laughing, and he felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Would they still accept him after the suspension? Would they tease him for standing up to a teacher? He took a deep breath, reminding himself of the support he felt from Ms. Roberts and his mother. He wanted to face his friends, no matter the outcome. Walking over, he heard snippets of their conversation. "Did you hear about Jordan? He got suspended for pointing out a mistake on the test." One of his friends, Mia, said. "Yeah, but he totally stood up for himself," replied another friend, David. "That takes guts." Jordan felt a rush of warmth at their words. He approached the table and smiled. "Hey, everyone. Jordan. There you are." Mia exclaimed. "We were just talking about you." "Yeah, man. That was brave of you," David added, giving him a fist bump. "I wouldn't have had the guts to do that." "Thanks," Jordan said, feeling a wave of relief. "I was really nervous about how everyone would react." "Honestly, we think it's awesome," Maya said. "You showed everyone that it's okay to speak up, even if it's hard." Jordan couldn't help but grin. It felt great to be supported by his friends. They spent the rest of lunch chatting and laughing, discussing their favorite video games and upcoming weekend plans. For the first time since his suspension, Jordan felt like he belonged again. After lunch, as Jordan walked to his next class, he spotted two students from his math class, Leo and Sam, whispering to each other. They looked over at him, and Jordan's stomach sank. Were they talking about him? His heart raced as he approached them. "Hey, what's up?" Jordan said, trying to sound casual. We just wanted to say that we think you did the right thing," Leo said, looking a bit shy. It took courage to say something. Not everyone would do that. Jordan felt a smile spreading across his face. "Thanks, guys. It was really scary at first, but I'm glad I did it." "Yeah, we're proud of you," Sam added. "You showed that standing up for what's right matters." As the day continued, Jordan found himself feeling more and more confident. His friends' support lifted his spirits, and he began to realize how important it was to have people around him who believed in him. That afternoon, when school ended, Jordan and Mia decided to hang out at the local park. They sat on a bench, watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant hues of orange and pink. "Do you think things will change now that you stood up?" Maya asked, her voice thoughtful. "I hope so," Jordan replied. "I want to show that it's okay to speak up, even if it's hard. I want everyone to feel comfortable sharing their thoughts." Mia nodded. "You're already inspiring others. I can see it. People are starting to talk more in class, and it feels different." "That makes me happy," Jordan said, feeling a sense of pride. "I think we should all support each other, no matter what. We can make a difference together." As they sat in the warm evening air, Jordan realized that his experience had not just affected him. It was creating a ripple effect among his peers, encouraging them to express themselves more freely. He felt a sense of responsibility to continue fostering this change, not just for himself, but for everyone. The following day, when Jordan returned to school, he noticed a shift in the atmosphere. Students were talking more openly, and there was a newfound sense of camaraderie. Ms. Roberts led discussions that encouraged every voice to be heard. It felt like a different environment, one where students could express their thoughts without fear of judgment. During one class, Ms. Roberts asked everyone to share their opinions on a recent book they had read. Jordan felt a mix of excitement and nerves as he raised his hand. He shared his thoughts passionately, and to his surprise, his classmates responded positively, asking questions and sharing their views. After class, Jordan overheard some students discussing how refreshing it was to have open conversations. He felt a swell of pride knowing he played a part in creating this supportive environment. That afternoon, Jordan sat with Mia and David again, their usual spot at lunch buzzing with energy. They laughed and joked, but Jordan noticed something different. The conversations were deeper, more meaningful. Students shared their struggles and dreams, and it felt like they were all growing closer as a community. As the days turned into weeks, Jordan continued to embrace his newfound voice. He participated in discussions and even started a small group where students could talk about their experiences and support one another. He wanted everyone to know that they were not alone and that their voices mattered. One day, during one of their meetings, Jordan noticed a shy girl sitting in the back, looking unsure. He smiled at her and said, "Hey, you're welcome to join us. We're all here to support each other." She looked surprised but slowly nodded. "Okay, I'll try." Jordan felt a rush of joy. He knew that by reaching out, he could help someone feel included. The small group grew, and soon, more students began to participate, each bringing their unique perspectives to the table. As Jordan continued his journey, he learned that standing up for what is right not only changed his own life, but also positively impacted those around him. His confidence grew, and he became a source of inspiration for many. Jordan knew that the power of community and support was invaluable, and he was determined to nurture it as he moved forward in life. The principal's office. As the days went by, Jordan felt like a new person. His friends supported him, and he enjoyed sharing his thoughts in class. However, one day, he received an unexpected visit from the principal's office. The news made his heart race. During lunch, Jordan was munching on a sandwich when a teacher approached him. "Jordan, can you come with me for a moment?" she asked kindly. Jordan's stomach dropped. He exchanged worried glances with Mia and David. What did I do now? He wondered as he followed her down the hallway. When they reached the principal's office, the teacher knocked and opened the door. "Principal Johnson, Jordan is here." Principal Johnson looked up from his desk. "Ah, Jordan, come in, please. Have a seat." Jordan took a deep breath and sat down, trying to remain calm. "Is everything okay, sir?" The principal smiled. "Yes, everything is fine. I wanted to talk to you about something important. Your teacher, Ms. Roberts, spoke very highly of you. She mentioned how you stood up in class and pointed out the mistake on the test." Jordan felt a rush of pride. "Thank you. I just wanted to make sure everyone understood the material. I appreciate your honesty and willingness to speak up," Principal Johnson continued. "However, I want to address the situation regarding your suspension. I believe it was unfair." Jordan's eyes widened in surprise. "Really? But I got suspended for correcting a mistake." The principal nodded. "That's why I'm here. I think it's essential to encourage students like you to express themselves without fear of punishment. I'm going to reverse your suspension, and I would like to recognize you in front of the school for your courage." Jordan could hardly believe his ears. "Thank you, sir. That means so much to me." Principal Johnson smiled. "It's important for students to know that they can speak up about injustices. I want you to inspire others to do the same." Jordan felt a weight lift off his shoulders. This was an incredible opportunity, and he wanted to make the most of it. "I will, I promise." As he left the principal's office, Jordan felt a wave of relief and excitement. He rushed back to the cafeteria to share the news with his friends. They were thrilled to hear that his suspension was reversed and that he would be recognized for his bravery. The next day, Principal Johnson announced during the morning assembly that Jordan would be honored for his actions. The entire school would gather to hear his story. Jordan's heart raced with anticipation, and he felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. When the day of the assembly arrived, the auditorium was packed. Students chatted excitedly, and the atmosphere was buzzing with energy. Jordan sat backstage, waiting for his turn. He could hear the crowd and felt a knot in his stomach. What if they didn't care about what he had to say? Finally, the principal introduced him. "Today, we celebrate a student who stood up for what is right. Jordan has shown incredible courage by speaking up against a mistake in class. Please welcome him to the stage." As he stepped out, a wave of applause filled the air. Jordan felt his heart race, but he took a deep breath and focused on the faces in the crowd. He saw Mia and David cheering him on, their smiles encouraging him. "Hi, everyone." Jordan began, his voice trembling slightly. "I'm Jordan, and I want to share my story with you." He talked about the day he corrected the test, the suspension that followed, and how he felt scared, but ultimately decided to speak out. He emphasized how important it is to stand up for oneself and others, even when it feels uncomfortable. He looked at the audience and said, "It's okay to be afraid, but it's not okay to stay silent." As he spoke, he saw students nodding in agreement, and some even whispered supportive words. Jordan continued, "I hope my story encourages you to find your voice. Don't be afraid to speak up when you see something wrong. Together, we can make our school a better place." When he finished, the audience erupted in applause. Jordan's heart swelled with pride, and he felt a sense of belonging that he had never experienced before. This was his moment, and he had made it count. After the assembly, students approached him to express their admiration. "You were amazing." One girl said, You inspired me to speak up. Jordan felt overwhelmed by the positive feedback. He had never imagined his actions could have such an impact. It was not just about correcting a mistake. It was about creating a culture where everyone felt valued and heard. In the following weeks, the school atmosphere began to shift. More students spoke up in class, sharing their opinions and ideas. Jordan was proud to see the change happening around him. It was as if they were all awakening to the power of their voices. With each passing day, Jordan learned more about the importance of standing up for what was right. He felt a sense of purpose as he became a role model for others. It was no longer just about his own experience. It was about encouraging everyone to be brave, to find their voices, and to support one another. One day, as he walked through the halls, he spotted a freshman looking lost and overwhelmed. Jordan remembered how he felt when he first started high school. He approached the boy and smiled. "Hey, are you okay? Do you need help with anything?" The freshman looked surprised but relieved. "Yeah, I'm just trying to find my way around. Everything is so new." Jordan nodded, understanding the feeling. "I know how that is. I can show you around if you'd like. It's easy to get lost at first." As they walked together, Jordan felt a sense of fulfillment. He was making a difference in someone else's life, just as his friends had done for him. He realized that by standing up and helping others, he could create a chain of kindness and support. That day, Jordan learned that bravery isn't just about speaking up. It's also about reaching out and lifting others. He had come a long way from that day in class, and he knew that his journey was only just beginning. The ripple effect. In the weeks following his assembly speech, Jordan noticed a remarkable change in his school. More students were willing to share their thoughts and stand up for what they believed in. The atmosphere felt lighter and more open. It was as if the walls that had once kept everyone silent were finally coming down. One day, during lunch, Jordan sat with Mia and David, discussing the positive changes they had seen. "It feels like everyone is more confident now," Maya said, taking a sip of her drink. "I've seen people speaking up in class who never used to say anything." "Yeah, it's awesome," David added. "And it all started with you, Jordan. You really inspired everyone." Jordan felt a warm glow of pride. "I didn't think my speech would have such an impact. I just wanted to do the right thing." As they continued talking, a group of students from another class approached their table. Jordan recognized them as the ones who had been quiet and reserved. "Hey, Jordan," one of them said, a girl named Lisa. "Can we talk to you for a second?" "Sure," Jordan replied, a bit surprised. Lisa took a deep breath. "We heard about what you did and how you spoke up in class. It made us realize we could do the same. We wanted to thank you for being brave." Jordan smiled, feeling humbled. "You're welcome. I just did what I thought was right. You can do it too." Another student chimed in. "We have a math teacher who often gives unfair grades. We were thinking about talking to him, but we didn't know how to start." "Just be honest," Jordan encouraged. "Explain how you feel and why it matters. You have the right to voice your concerns." The group nodded, inspired by his words. They thanked Jordan again and promised to support each other in speaking up. As they walked away, Jordan realized the ripple effect of his actions. One small act of courage had inspired others to find their voices. A few days later, during a morning assembly, Principal Johnson surprised the school with an announcement. "We are starting a new program called Voices of Change. This program will encourage students to share their experiences and speak up about important issues in our school community." The students erupted in applause. Jordan's heart raced with excitement. This was a great opportunity for everyone to come together and address their concerns in a positive way. As the weeks went on, students began to share their stories. They talked about their experiences with bullying, unfair treatment, and the challenges they faced as individuals. Jordan was amazed by the courage displayed by his classmates. Each story resonated with someone, creating a bond among them. One day, during a Voices of Change meeting, a senior named Michael shared his experience with bullying. I used to be quiet because I was scared. But after seeing Jordan stand up, I realized I could speak out too. I'm done being silent." His words sparked a wave of applause and support from the group. Inspired by Michael's story, Jordan decided to share his own experience of being suspended. "I learned that it's important to stand up, even when it's hard. If we don't speak up, things won't change." The meeting ended with a strong sense of unity. Students pledged to support one another and create a safe environment where everyone could share their thoughts without fear of punishment. After a particularly powerful meeting, Mia approached Jordan. "I think we should do something big to celebrate this movement," she suggested. "What if we organize a school-wide rally?" Jordan's eyes lit up. "That's a great idea. We can invite everyone to share their stories and show our support for one another." They quickly got to work, spreading the word about the rally. They created posters and flyers, urging students to come together. The excitement in the air was contagious, and the school buzzed with anticipation. On the day of the rally, the school courtyard was filled with students and teachers. The atmosphere was electric with energy and enthusiasm. Jordan stood on a makeshift stage, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. This was his chance to help others feel empowered. As he spoke to the crowd, Jordan felt the support of his friends and classmates behind him. "Thank you all for being here today. We are here to celebrate our voices and our stories. Together, we can create a positive change in our school." The crowd cheered, and Jordan felt a surge of motivation. Students took turns sharing their experiences, and each story echoed the importance of speaking up. The rally became a safe space for everyone to express their feelings and thoughts. As the day went on, Jordan realized that the impact of his actions had grown beyond what he had ever imagined. He had sparked a movement that encouraged his peers to embrace their voices, creating a sense of unity and support among them. After the rally, Mia and David joined Jordan, their faces glowing with excitement. "We did it," David exclaimed. "This was amazing." Mia added, "I think we've really changed things around here. People are more confident now." Jordan smiled, feeling proud of what they had accomplished. "It wasn't just me. It was all of us together. We all have the power to make a difference." As they walked home, Jordan felt a sense of fulfillment. He had started as a regular student, but now he was part of something bigger. The courage to speak up had transformed not only his life, but also the lives of those around him. That day, Jordan learned that change begins with a single voice. He knew that he would continue to support his friends and classmates, helping them find their strength and courage to speak out for what was right. The ripple effect of their actions would go on, creating a wave of positive change that would last far beyond their time in school. The turning point. The rally had transformed the school atmosphere. Students were no longer afraid to speak up. The sense of community was stronger than ever, and Jordan felt proud to be a part of it. But he knew that this was just the beginning. Change required continuous effort, and he was determined to keep the momentum going. As the weeks passed, Jordan and his friends organized regular meetings for the Voices of Change program. During these sessions, students shared their stories and discussed how they could continue advocating for themselves and each other. The discussions often grew intense as students expressed their frustrations with the administration and the need for a more inclusive environment. One day, while preparing for their weekly meeting, Mia brought up a troubling incident. "Did you hear about the new dress code? Some students are saying it's unfair and targets certain groups." Jordan frowned. "I didn't know about that. We should definitely talk about it. If it's affecting students, we need to stand up against it." During the meeting that week, they decided to address the dress code. Several students shared their thoughts and experiences, explaining how the rules seemed to target specific styles that were important to their identities. They felt it was a way to suppress their self-expression. Inspired by the discussions, Jordan and his friends planned to bring their concerns to the principal. "We need to gather more information and present it as a unified group," he suggested. Let's write a letter to the administration outlining our concerns and requesting a meeting." The group nodded in agreement. Over the next few days, they worked together to draft a respectful yet firm letter. They included testimonies from students who felt the dress code was unfair, emphasizing that self-expression was an essential part of their identity. When they finished the letter, they all signed it, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The following week, they delivered it to Principal Johnson, who agreed to meet with them. The meeting was set for the next Tuesday. On the day of the meeting, Jordan felt butterflies in his stomach. They gathered in the principal's office, a small group of passionate students ready to voice their concerns. Principal Johnson welcomed them warmly but looked serious as they began to explain their viewpoints. Jordan took a deep breath and spoke first. "Thank you for meeting with us, Principal Johnson. We want to discuss the new dress code. Many of us feel it's unfair and makes it hard for students to express who they are." Principal Johnson listened attentively. "I appreciate you coming to talk about this. Can you tell me more about your concerns?" Mia chimed in. "The dress code seems to target certain styles that are important to some students. It feels like a way to limit our self-expression." The principal nodded, considering their words. "I understand your perspective. It's important to me that all students feel comfortable in our school. I will look into the matter and see if we can find a balance that respects both individual expression and school standards." After the meeting, the group left the office feeling hopeful. Jordan felt proud of his peers for standing up and having an open conversation about an issue that affected many students. "We did it. I think he really listened to us," Jordan said, a smile spreading across his face. As the days went by, rumors began to circulate that changes were coming to the dress code. Jordan and his friends eagerly awaited the announcement, hopeful that their voices had made a difference. Then, one afternoon, Principal Johnson called for another assembly. The students filed into the auditorium, buzzing with curiosity. Jordan and his friends took their seats near the front, filled with anticipation. When the principal took the stage, he addressed the crowd. "Thank you all for being here today. I want to share an important update regarding our dress code. After listening to the concerns raised by our students, we have decided to make adjustments to the current policy." The auditorium erupted in applause and cheers. Jordan felt a wave of relief wash over him. "We did it," he whispered to Mia, who was grinning from ear to ear. The principal continued, "We believe that students should be allowed to express themselves while still maintaining a respectful environment. Therefore, we will be revising our dress code to better reflect our community's values." As the announcement concluded, the excitement among the students grew. They had made their voices heard, and their courage had led to real change. Jordan felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that their actions had positively impacted their school. After the assembly, students approached Jordan and his friends, congratulating them on their efforts. "You guys are amazing. Thanks for standing up for us," a classmate said, high-fiving Jordan. The victory felt monumental, but Jordan knew that their journey was far from over. They had tackled one issue, but many more challenges remained in their school and community. He and his friends were determined to keep fighting for what was right. Jordan thought about how far they had come since his suspension. What had started as a personal struggle had blossomed into a movement that inspired others. It was a reminder that every voice mattered, and that change could start with a single person willing to stand up. As they walked home that day, Mia, David, and Jordan talked about their next steps. "We should keep the momentum going," David suggested. "There are still other issues we need to address." Jordan nodded. "Absolutely. We need to keep speaking up and supporting each other. Together, we can make a difference." As they parted ways that evening, Jordan felt hopeful about the future. They had faced challenges, but together they had created a community that valued each person's voice. He knew that as long as they continued to stand together, they could overcome any obstacle that came their way. The ripple effect. In the weeks that followed the dress code victory, the atmosphere at school continued to change. Students felt more empowered than ever to express themselves and speak out against injustices. Jordan and his friends became known as the leaders of this movement, and they embraced their roles with enthusiasm. They organized a Spirit Week, encouraging students to showcase their unique styles and backgrounds. The idea was to celebrate diversity and create a more inclusive environment. Each day had a different theme: Culture Day, Style Day, and Expression Day. Jordan and his friends designed posters and spread the word around the school. The excitement grew, and soon everyone was talking about the upcoming event. On Culture Day, students wore traditional clothing representing their heritage. Jordan was proud to see classmates proudly displaying their cultural identities. Mia wore a beautiful sari while David donned a dashiki. The halls were filled with vibrant colors and laughter as students shared stories about their outfits. "Look at all this diversity," Mia exclaimed, beaming with pride. "This is what it's all about." As the week continued, the school felt more united. Students who previously felt marginalized now had a platform to share their stories and experiences. Jordan noticed a shift in how classmates interacted with one another. There was less division and more understanding. However, not everyone was happy about the changes. A small group of students, resistant to the new spirit of inclusivity, began to voice their dissent. They posted negative comments on social media, claiming the movement was unnecessary and only stirred up trouble. Jordan heard about it through friends, and he felt a mix of frustration and concern. "This is exactly why we need to keep fighting," Jordan told Mia and David as they gathered after school to discuss the situation. "Some people don't understand how important this is for everyone." Mia nodded, her expression serious. "We can't let negativity stop us. We need to respond positively and show them the benefits of what we're doing." They decided to hold a school-wide forum where students could express their thoughts and concerns openly. They wanted to create a safe space for dialogue and help bridge the gap between different groups. Jordan felt nervous but excited about the opportunity to engage with his peers. The forum was set for the following week, and they worked hard to prepare. They created a schedule, invited speakers, and prepared guidelines for respectful communication. On the day of the event, the auditorium was packed with students, buzzing with anticipation. As the forum began, Jordan welcomed everyone and explained the purpose of the gathering. "We're here to talk about our school community and how we can make it better for everyone. All voices matter, and we want to hear from you." The first speaker was a senior named Lily, who shared her experiences of feeling excluded due to her background. Her words resonated with many in the audience. As she spoke, Jordan noticed some students nodding in agreement, while others listened intently. As the forum progressed, more students took the microphone, sharing their stories and opinions. Jordan felt a sense of camaraderie in the room. It was powerful to see everyone come together to discuss the issues affecting their school. However, when a member of the dissenting group took the stage, the atmosphere shifted. "This whole movement is just a way for people to complain about nothing. We don't need these changes," he declared, crossing his arms defiantly. The room grew tense, and Jordan felt his heart race. But before he could respond, Maya stood up, her voice steady. "I think what we're doing is important. It's not just about complaining. It's about creating a safe space for everyone. Change starts with understanding and compassion." The crowd erupted in applause, showing their support for Mia's words. Jordan felt a surge of hope as he watched students rally around the message of unity. The forum continued, with students sharing their perspectives on how to make the school a better place. After several hours of heartfelt discussion, they decided to form committees to address specific issues, like bullying and mental health support. As they left the auditorium, Jordan felt a renewed sense of purpose. The forum had not only highlighted the challenges but also provided solutions. He turned to Mia and David. "We did it. We created a platform for everyone to be heard." "Yeah. And now we have action steps to take," David added, his excitement palpable. In the following weeks, the committees met regularly, brainstorming ways to implement changes in their school. They worked on campaigns to raise awareness about bullying, organized workshops on empathy, and even created a peer support program. The ripple effect of their actions was visible everywhere. One day, as Jordan walked through the halls, he noticed a group of younger students helping one another with their work. It was a small moment, but it filled him with pride. They were learning from the environment of support and understanding that Jordan and his friends had worked hard to create. As the school year came to a close, Jordan reflected on how far they had come. What started with a simple act of speaking up had transformed into a movement that fostered connection and solidarity among students. The experiences had taught him the importance of resilience, advocacy, and community. On the last day of school, Jordan and his friends decided to hold a celebration to honor everyone who had contributed to the changes. They organized games, music, and food, inviting all students and teachers. As the event unfolded, laughter and joy filled the air. In the midst of the celebration, Jordan took a moment to address the crowd. "Thank you all for being a part of this journey. Together, we've made our school a better place, and I can't wait to see what we'll accomplish next year." The cheers and applause that followed filled Jordan's heart with gratitude. The future felt bright, and he knew that their work was far from over. They had set a powerful example of how standing up for what's right could create lasting change, and he was excited to continue that journey alongside his friends and peers.